All right, so let's continue our conversation here in EKG. Now, we have to understand the anatomy of the heart. All right. Yes, we know it's a very powerful muscle and that it contracts and it beats and pumps the blood all around to all the tissue. But you have to know the different parts of the heart so that you can later understand and correlate the electrical conduction system of the heart. So let's look at it. Now, the heart itself is located right in the center of your body on your chest cavity. It's located behind the sternum, which is your chest bone or breastbone. It should be about right here. Okay. Now it's not straight like this. It's actually angled a little bit more towards this way. Okay. So this is more or less now your heart is should be more or less about the size of your fist. It weighs usually on average about 10 to 11 ounces. The heart pumps on average about 72 times per minute, 100 times per day, and 22.5 billion times in a lifetime. So, on average, it pumps about 5 liters of blood per minute. So, as you can see, the role of the heart is critical, right? So, now the heart itself, it's located on your center of chest, like I said, in this type of angle. All right, and most of it, or 2/3 of the heart, is actually pointing to the left side. So that's why many people believe that your heart is actually on your left side of your chest, but it's in the middle, behind your sternum, between the lungs. All right, and part of it is actually protruding to the left side. That's what we call the left ventricle, and we'll go into it in just a minute. Now, the heart itself it has composed of three different layers. We have what we call the inside of the heart. It's the endo, or inside the endocardium, and then you have your myocardium, which is the actual muscle, the one that does all the contraction, and that muscle is covered by an outer layer called the epicardium. All right. Now, between these layers, you usually have a very small space, okay, called the pericardial space, that has a little bit of fluid, and it allows the heart to expand and move around and contract without any problems. And it also has these sacs to protect it from any kind of infection or trauma. So these sacs are, or or layers rather, right, are there for a purpose to protect it from infection and trauma, and of course to keep it contracting without any friction or any other issues. Now, let's look into the chambers and valves of the heart. So the heart itself is composed of four chambers. All right, let's look at this model here. Okay, the upper chambers of the heart, we call them the atrium. All right, we have two of them. So plural for atrium is atria. All right, so you have your right atrium and your left atrium. All right, and then you have your major chambers, which is your right ventricle and then your left ventricle. Okay, so they have very different jobs. Okay, they work together, but at the same time they have very different jobs. Now, inside these chambers you also have valves. Okay, you have valves that prevent blood from going back. So for example, right here, if you can see, this part is called a tricuspid valve. Okay, tri means three. Okay, so this tricuspid valve means that it has three tendons that help stretch and close, open and close, open and close. When the right atrium pumps blood into the right ventricle, it opens and then it closes right back. Okay. Now, same thing on this side, except on this side, we have mitral valves. Mitral valves keep blood flow going from the ventricle back up. Okay. So we'll go into the cardiac cycle in a few minutes. But so you understand, we have the tricuspid valve on the right side and mitral valves or bicuspid valves on the left side of the heart. Okay, so now these valves are held together by tendons called chordate tendonae. Okay, it's pretty much a tendon, just like you have tendons in all of your body, right? In your joints and your arms to keep them from coming and staying like this. Your tendons actually keep your arm stretched like that. Okay, and these tendons are also held together by papillary muscles, very fine muscles that are support the tendons onto your actual heart. Okay, and keep it from overstretching and so on. So we also have inside the heart, well, other parts of it are your vessels. Okay, so you have your aorta. Your aorta is the biggest vessel that we have in our body. Okay, this is where the blood is pumped through from the left ventricle and it pumps to the rest of the body. And then we have your pulmonary arteries. Okay, the pulmonary arteries in this part of the heart are the only vessels that carry deoxygenated blood. Usually, all your arteries carry oxygenated blood, but here in the heart, okay, in the pulmonary circulation, the pulmonary vessels will carry deoxygenated blood, at least going to the right side of the body. All right. So again, atrium are on the upper layers. The lower layers are called ventricles. Okay. Now let's go a little bit more into it. So if we start discussing about the cardiac cycle, okay, where does all the blood come from in the heart? Well, obviously it comes in from the rest of the body. So when your body is returning blood, okay, to the heart, it comes from the lower part of the body, from the lower part of the body, um, into your what we call the vein, one of the major veins that we have here on the lower part of the heart. Okay, and then we have it also on the top of the heart. So this blue one that you see is hold on a second.